Okay, next up is Senator Steele, and take it away, Victoria.
Okay, I just got unmiked or unmuted. Okay, so my piece here today is I'm going to be addressing housing assistance and then policing reforms, two really important things right now. One related to COVID-19 and the other not so much. So regarding housing assistance during this global pandemic, we have the governor established an eviction protection program a couple of months ago almost now, and that eviction protection program ends on July 22nd. Now we have a few concerns about this. The eviction protection program ends in a month, and if it is not extended, it will result in mass evictions. Now, we've got about 600 people here in Pima County that are on the verge of being evicted. And in about a month, we've got to have something for them. The termination of the eviction program coincides, and here's a really important thing to consider. The termination of this program, this eviction assistance program or prevention program, coincides with the beginning of the school year, which will further traumatize our most vulnerable population of children. And another concern is Arizona already has a huge homeless crisis. And without additional protections from eviction, it will become more difficult to mitigate against the spread of COVID-19. We do not want to be kicking families out into the street in the middle of a pandemic. And our numbers are not going down. There were just 2,500 and some new cases since yesterday, 2,500 plus, and 30 more deaths reported. This is going in the wrong direction. Okay. Rental assistance program, another really important thing. So when the legislature recessed so that we could shut down and allow us to be safe, because it wasn't safe for us to be in the legislature at that point and around each other either. So at that time, we legislated giving $5 million. In addition to everything else, we gave $5 million to the governor to use at his discretion to help pay Arizonans pay rent during this COVID-19 pandemic. So any renter or tenant who is having a hardship can pay their rent or having a hard time paying their rent as a result of COVID-19 can apply at the State Department of Housing or by calling 211. As of June 15th, this week, less than 20% of that $5 million had been dispersed. So out of $5 million, only 835,000 plus had been distributed. That's not good. 11 community agencies across the state are responsible. There's one here in Tucson and Pima County, and they're working on it. The most recent figures show that if all of the applications for rental assistance were to be approved, then the total money requested would exceed that $5 million that was earmarked for the program. So we have some concerns, of course. Implementation of the program and providing Arizonans the assistance they need so that they can stay home is really concerning to us. Nearly 3 months after the program went live on March 30th, we are shocked to find out that less than $1 million of the $5 million has been dispersed. That's inexcusable. I'd like to know what the governor's doing with this money or what he plans to do, but we have to prioritize the processing of the applications and add more resources so that we can provide Arizonans the help that we need to keep the roof over their heads. With the eviction protection program scheduled to end in a month from now, it is imperative that we get the money to the landlords to prevent those evictions. Now, I did ask a couple of questions from our staff. Oh, it's not here. I'll get that for you in a little bit. It's in an email. I have to look it up here. But I want to go on to policing reforms. So our focus on policing reforms as Democrats in the House and the Senate is to invest in and fund our communities and the people. So we all want to live in safe and thriving communities, and we want the police to play an important role in achieving that goal. But our current system of law enforcement does need some common sense changes. We need to pursue solutions that truly make our communities safer, not just feel safe, but safer. So some of the policy options that we are looking at, and some here in Tucson, we already have, but not all. We want body cameras on all of our law enforcement officers. We need investigation of deadly use of force. Every single case of deadly use of force must be investigated. We need to end the use of chokeholds and no-knock warrants. Police officers' database must be kept, and it should be made so that if an officer has a problem that they, like with maybe complaints of violence and excessive use of force, that they can't just quit and have the database expunged after a certain amount of time. And they can't just quit and go to another police department to work. And so that way we can end up with people that have skipped and gone from hopscotched from one police department to another. And we don't know because the information in the database is gone or not kept at all. So that has to be really nationwide. It's got to be strict. AZ Post trainings need to include cultural sensitivity, implicit bias training, and de-escalation training. With the rise in officer-involved shootings that we've seen and police brutality, we clearly need improved officer training. We also need to limit the qualified immunity that allows a police officer to be sued for negligence. This removes the justification defense for an officer found to have acted unlawfully. And right now, you, the taxpayers, we foot the bill when settlements are made when an officer is found to be negligent. We pay for that, and that shouldn't be happening. So that needs to be limited. We also need to, I've got the choir in the background. We need to have a mental health crisis training and intervention training, more of that. And I don't know that we need to be sending out police officers every time there is a despondent person or a confused individual or someone who is dealing with a drug overdose. Maybe we should have trained teams instead go out that aren't necessarily carrying a gun. Independent police review boards need to be established, and demilitarization of local police. That's something that is really important. Now, we have been having some current conversations nationally around defunding or the police. And I think we talked about that a few days ago. And where we are on it at this point is that defunding may be the wrong word. It's the wrong verb because that implies taking away all funding. But I think it's important that we look at what are we funding and how do we have oversight on our police departments, strict oversight. And our police forces, do they really need military weapons? I was shocked when I saw the National Guard. Now, this is not a police department, but I was shocked to see National Guard Hummers, those big tank type weapons, not tanks, but military weapon vehicles, the Hummers, surrounding the Capitol, the state Capitol. I was just very dismayed, and that's an understatement when I saw that. Particularly when I saw it in Scottsdale to watch over the peaceful protesters. you know, it was just like, all right, there's something very wrong here. That was overkill. And I don't use the term overkill lightly. So anyway, that's it for me. Pamela, you're on.